Listen to me. God is about to confuse what people heard about you. Like, have you ever noticed that some people made a decision about you without ever having a conversation with you? Like they heard something or they believed something or they repeated something, and now they're treating you based on a version of you that never existed. But here and receive this prophetic word. The Lord said, I'm about to confuse what people heard about you. And it's not because he's trying to impress them, but because truth has an expiration date on every lie. So hear me. See, one encounter with the real you will dismantle years of false narratives. Like people have been carrying stories about you that heaven never wrote. That's why the Bible says in Isaiah 54:17, every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Now, I want you to notice this. It didn't say the tongue wouldn't rise. It said it wouldn't win. Uh-huh. See, there are people who built an opinion about you on borrowed information. They never investigated, they never prayed, they never asked your side. They simply accepted somebody else's offense as their own. Be careful because offense is very contagious. See, a bitter person can make an innocent person look guilty, and a jealous person can make a blessed person look suspicious. An insecure person can make a confident person appear arrogant. And that's why Proverbs tells us that the first side sounds right until another comes and examines him. See, you got to understand that some people didn't dislike you because they knew you. They disliked you because they knew someone who disliked you. See, there's a difference. That's why Jesus asked his disciples, who do men say that I am? And what wasn't because he didn't know, but it was because he wanted them to understand that public opinion and divine identity are rarely the same thing. See, some said he was Elijah. Some said he was Jeremiah. Some said he was John the Baptist. Everyone had an opinion. Very few had a revelation. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Everyone have an opinion about you. Very few have a revelation about you. And I want to tell you something. Some people have opinions about you, but heaven has a revelation about you. See, don't confuse the two. And here's what's about to happen. God is about to create encounters that contradict the rumors. People are going to meet you expecting one person and leave saying, that's not what I heard. They expected pride, but they found humility. They expected manipulation, but they're going to find integrity. They expected drama, but they're going to find peace. They expected somebody fake. Instead, they met somebody genuine. I'm talking about you right now. See, lies have one weakness. And the weakness of lies is they cannot survive consistent truth. See, truth that doesn't have to scream. Truth simply has to show up. See, Joseph is a perfect example. I always talk about Joseph on a lot of my videos, y'all. Joseph is my middle name, and he's one of my favorite characters in the Bible. Like when you read his story, his brothers painted him as a dreamer who deserved to be hated. Potiphar's wife painted him as a predator. Like it's crazy. Prison painted him as he was forgotten. But heaven never changed its description. God still called him a ruler. Think about that. Different people kept giving Joseph different labels. Yet none of those labels had the authority to counsel God's assignment. And you got to remember this about your life. Maybe people have labeled you. Maybe they called you difficult. Maybe they called you controlling or called you selfish or called you arrogant or too much. Maybe they called you not enough. Maybe they called you fake because your life changed. Maybe they called you distant because you stopped tolerating dysfunction. You got to hear me. Growth always offends people who benefited from your immaturity. Like some people don't miss who you are. They miss who they could manipulate. That's what they miss. And when you started setting boundaries, they call you proud. When you stopped entertaining gossip, they said you changed. When you got serious about your purpose, they said you think you're better. No, you're just becoming healthier. And healthy people confuse unhealthy expectations. Here's the revelation I want you to receive. This is it. Sometimes God allows misinformation to spread because he's preparing a greater revelation. Did you hear me? If everybody understood you immediately, they would never appreciate who God made you to become. Everybody's not going to understand you. God has a way of letting people underestimate his people. Because when promotion comes, everyone realizes they were looking through the wrong lens. David looked like a shepherd. He was actually a king. Gideon looked weak. He was actually a man of valor. Ruth looked like a widow. She was carrying the bloodline of Christ. The appearance confused people. But heaven knew the assignment. That's why I said God is about to confuse what people heard about you. And that's where many of you are. People have mistaken your season for your identity. They saw your process and thought it was your potential. They saw your struggle and thought it was your future. But God said, I'm about to confuse everything they thought they knew about you. Watch this. Same people who believe the rumors are going to witness the results. They'll see the marriage. They'll see the business. They'll see the ministry. They'll see the peace. They'll see the favor. And they'll quietly ask themselves, maybe we were wrong the whole time. This is what they're going to say. You won't have to defend yourself. God will let your fruit speak. You keep on living. You keep on loving. You keep on being humble. God got your back. Jesus said you should know them by their fruit, not by their gossip, not by their accusations, not by their comments, but by their fruit. And fruit has a way of settling arguments. Results silence speculation. Character outlives criticism. And I want to encourage somebody, you got to stop exhausting yourself trying to explain yourself to people who have already decided they wouldn't understand you. And they don't want to understand you. Some conversations don't need another explanation. They need another season because time reveals what arguments never can. Are you hearing me? Some of the people or same people who doubted Noah walked onto a flooded earth. Some of the same people who mocked David watched him carry Goliath's head. Some of the same people who crucified Jesus witnessed an empty tomb. God specializes in proving people wrong without asking their permission. And I believe you're entering a season where your life will become the correction. Are you hearing me? I said you're entering a season where your very life will become the correction. Not your mouth, your life. The promotion will correct it. The peace will correct it. The joy will correct it. The favor will correct it. The doors opening in your life will correct it. The people God sends into your life will correct it. And God says, I'm about to confuse what they heard by showing them what I said. See, because what they heard came from people, but what God said came from eternity. So don't panic over rumors. Don't chase every lie. Don't answer every accusation. Don't spend your future defending your past. I said, don't spend your future defending your past. Walk with God. Stay humble. Keep your character clean. Remain faithful. Because the louder your fruit becomes, the quieter the gossip will get. And I prophesy over every person listening to me. God is about to arrange divine encounters where your character destroys every false narrative. People who misunderstood you are about to witness another side of you they never expected. And it's not because you changed for them, but because God is revealing who you really were all along. And this season, heaven is about to confuse what people heard about you. And by the time they discover the truth, you will already be walking into the next door God opened over your life. Listen to me. When God becomes your defender, you no longer have to become your own.